Oh, I'm sorry. Well, hello there. I'm Brian Sheehan. This is Mayor Pavey to my left and Lexi Yeager to my right. Nick Lawler is the magical voice you'll hear from outside, but not on screen. And hey, guys, we're on a podcast. So anyway, this is something that we are doing, and one of the reasons we're doing it and able to do it is with our interns. So I thought one of our first topics that we'll discuss is our intern program, and then specifically the interns that we have for this year. That sound good?
Sounds great.
Okay, and you're one of the interns, is that correct?
Yes, I'm Lexi Yeager. Sorry, I have a cough drop right now because I have a really sore throat. But yes, I started a few days ago. It's, I think, my 4th day on, and I already feel like I know so much. There's definitely a lot thrown at you, but it's very interesting to see everything that the city does. There's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that a lot of people don't know about, which is why we wanted to do this podcast, to let people know a little bit more of what we're doing. I've definitely been doing a lot of writing lately for letters for grants, and then also we have bicentennial work coming up, so that's going to be a lot of writing as well. And then I'm hoping that eventually I'll be able to hop on a few art projects with Riley Sheehan and see what we can do with that. So, and then we also have Nicholas Newman with us, which he can't be here today, and then Nick, who is off screen.
And Nick off screen, if you'd like to share, Nick is the man behind this program, literally behind the scenes. But tell us a little bit about you were attending Ball State. You will be a sophomore, and this is kind of your world, right?
I was really pretty excited when you guys brought this opportunity up, and I'm excited to get it rolling now. We've been going over a lot of stuff lately, and we kind of get to see everything come to fruition right now. So I guess with that, we're just going to lead into this first topic and see what we can get going from here. And I know the first thing you guys really wanted to talk about was the Overlook and all the stuff that's going on down there.
Yeah, and we can hit that from many different angles. The Overlook is the final project of our Stellar program and projects that we did. So starting back in 2016, we went after the Stellar Award designation. We were able to get that. Through that, we had 8 different projects. 7 of those are complete, and this last one, the Overlook, which is very hard to describe before we got to this point, but now that it's done or very close to being done, I think people can finally see it is a unique attraction, particularly for a small rural community to have something like that. The large place feature, the splash area, just a really, really a beautiful park. And kind of I'll pass off to Mike here right now as far as kind of your thoughts on, dreaming that up as a group and with our engineers and getting it to the final place. What's that mean?
Well, I think that it was probably by far the hardest concept to get people to understand. So, as it's opened, I think now people understand a little bit more of what we were trying to do, and that's why we have, I think, probably about 6 months ago, we all figured out, okay, this is how it works, and this is how it's going to play into the other park, and that was beneficial to us, but it took us a while to understand that the general public was still 6 months behind, and so we have kind of very intentionally asked people to kind of let's ease into this new park and let's kind of understand some things and how it's going to work before. I know there's been conversation about a fence and a lot of different things, and we've said, for us, it's new to us, and so let's try to understand it and how it works a little bit before we start putting infrastructure on top of it to try to limit it. And so this weekend was really, really interesting for us because it was kind of a soft opening, I would say, and so we got to see kids interacting in it. And quite honestly, the thing that's most interesting to me is the thing that was bantered about by the general public the most out on social media was not the issue that I would say is the issue that we feel like we've got to address first. So we'll make those adjustments. We'll come back in. We'll redesign what we need to redesign, and we'll get the park figured out. But yeah, it's a big kind of milestone piece for a small community to have that type of a park, and I think the response from the people I've seen and have talked to has been very, very positive, and they're very, very appreciative. And
it's one of those that if you look big picture, the what I think is the most interesting piece about it is, how many communities have a park that actually draws people from other areas? A lot of times, well, that's our park, that's where we go. And if you go visit that place, you might go to that park, but you wouldn't likely just go there for that park. And we've seen that early on that people are coming from other communities to kind of see it, be a part of it. And that's really its location. Our goal has always been to activate our downtown the best we could, and its location being a block away from the courthouse and right downtown, yet you kind of have this rural park, being the Riverside Park, kind of spill up towards Main Street and really become kind of a marketing piece for our community, for the several thousand cars that come through our town every day that get a look over and see families having a good time. So how about I throw it to Lexi on, you've been down to the park?
Yes, it's beautiful. What you pass by on the road is already beautiful, but when you actually go down by it, there's so much more that you don't see. And it's definitely already a very popular commodity. I've seen so many kids and families playing on it, and I've actually gone down there once or twice just to go through it because it's truly beautiful.
And I think that's, I was at Fish Moon last week, and it was funny. There was a kid who had graduated about 5-6 years ago and said, man, downtown is really coming along. I went by that park and I just kept thinking, why wasn't this stuff here when I was a kid? And for you guys, being seniors, you may have that same kind of a feel, but it is something that's important for us as we try to attract younger communities here or get you to come back after you go through schooling.
Yeah, I love it as a graduate, so I couldn't even imagine as a little kid. I'd be thrilled.
So other things about the Overlook is it should be wrapping up by mid-June, so we're about a week away from that. They'll put down the sod out in front. There's another area that's referred to by us as the gateway. That's the other side, and it'll just be kind of a nice green space that will allow us later on to activate different events, maybe art projects, and people being able to go down there, having lunch, those kinds of things. So, well, definitely being hopefully a pride point for a long time, but the best thing for me is to go down there and see how many families are there, and I'm talking from kids and babies splashing in the water to the grandparents walking around seeing it. And then another thing is the entire park is handicap accessible. So we have seen a couple of people down there enjoying the park, being able to actually get into the small creek feature and really get around to all of the features. One was a mother who has a hard time taking her kids somewhere where she can get around where they are the entire way, and expressed how happy she was about that. So all in all, very excited about the Overlook. And if you have not been, we encourage you to go down there, take a look. Parking in the area, you can go down into Riverside Park and park in the gravel area and walk your way up. There is a nice little area that gets you up to that point, or between Gettingers and Advance. We just ask that you would park in the middle section because parking in front of Advance Auto and Gettingers is for their customers during business hours.
And Brian, I wanted to make sure that we mentioned that we obviously do have to thank the Board of Works and the council because they allow us to do some of these concepts that people don't quite understand until they're complete. And also want to thank Dan Burklow and the Parks Board. Dan has put in a ton of work trying to learn this new system. He not only has a pool that he runs in the summer, now he has a splash pad he's running in the summer, and a new one that has a lot of technology behind it. So,
and speaking of new one, he also, in the midst of all this, had a new baby come along. So
yeah,
he's been very busy.
On the weekend of the soft opening, Dan introduces a new child into the world. So it was a complicated work weekend for Dan, but he did a great job navigating. So we just want to make sure we note that.